I know way too many things about OBS in general. I I know way too many things. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another tips and tricks video. I'm your host, Cassie Joy. How's everybody doing? Today, we are gonna be going over roughly 10 OBS features that you probably didn't know about. Before I get started, I stream 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday, over on twitch.tv/Cassie_Joy. Go check that out. A link right here and in the description. I hope to see you if you have more questions. All right, the first feature that you probably didn't know about, and it's not like a really super important feature, but it's a thing that I feel like everybody should use in their daily workflow. In a day and age when we're making really complex scenes and doing all kinds of fun stream effects with your stream decks and with just several capture cards of various sources, and that is folders and color coding. This was added not too long ago, I believe in version 23, where you could color code and put all your sources into a folder. So I have it set up to where any web source is a certain color, any capture device is a certain color, and within those scenes, I'll group them. It's just super useful as an organizational tool to be able to easily distinct, oh, this is the source I'm looking for. Number 2 is source scaling shortcuts and being able to move around the canvas. So a lot of people get really fumbly when it comes to resizing things in their OBS, but it's really simple to do, actually. If you want to be able to crop something without having to put a crop filter on, simply hold Alt and drag the edge of the source and it will crop it for you on the side that you're cropping. If a lot of people have snapping turned on by default, if you hold Control, it turns off snapping, so you can nudge that one source over by just that one pixel that it doesn't want to snap to. If you hold Shift, it maintains your aspect ratio of your source, so you don't have to worry about the bounding box getting all weird and scaled out. And one of the most important things that I wish I had known, this is actually a thing I recently found out about OBS. A lot of people want to be able to zoom and scale inside the preview window. You want to be able to get closer to be able to see, is that off by 1 pixel? If you right-click on the preview window, go to Preview Scaling, and set it to Canvas or Output. If you set it to Output mode and you hold Space and go over the preview window, you can scroll wheel in and out to be able to zoom in. And then if you still holding space, if you click, you can drag the image around. This is super useful. This is a feature I wish I had known about a while ago, because you're always like, is that thing on by that 1 pixel? The third thing I want to talk about, that's a 4, Cassie. The third thing I want to talk about is masks. A lot of people just have these square webcams in the corner of their screens. They don't have frames or anything. You could spice that up. There's really good filters inside of OBS. If you right-click on your webcam source and go to Filters, and you go to click Add Filter, Add Image Mask and Blend, you can make a really cool effect to your webcam. Say you want a circle webcam, or you want a webcam that's got the edges clipped off or something. All you got to do is go make a mask inside of Photoshop, which is just whatever you want to be seen on the camera would be white in Photoshop, and anything you don't want to be is black in Photoshop or any other photo editing program. And you export that as a JPEG or a PNG, and you load that as the image inside of OBS, and you can get something like a simple rounded corners webcam or the circle cam or anything else. It expands your creativity a lot, and it's a really cool underutilized feature of OBS that I think more people should be using. Number 4. This is one that a lot of people are starting to figure out, but maybe you don't know about it yet. If you're getting into using really complex effects inside of your OBS, you probably are using the same sources for a lot of things. In particular, your webcam. OBS has this really cool thing called scene nesting. So basically what you can do is you can add a scene as a source in any other scene. So what I have done is I've built out a webcam scene that has my webcam and my border, and that gets exported, or that gets imported into pretty much every scene that has a webcam, including all my effects things. And that way I can add filters and effects and manipulate the webcam inside of a scene without having to put a filter onto my webcam. Because if you put a filter onto your webcam source, that's going to add it everywhere. But if you're using nested scenes and putting your webcam source inside of a scene that's you're going to call your black and white scene, you put the nested webcam source inside of that scene, you right click on the scene and add filters to the scene, and then you could be able to control it and manipulate it without messing up your original webcam scene. Number 5. This one's actually relatively simple, and maybe you know about it, maybe you don't. A lot of the time, I used to export. I'll want to use a color for something. I just need a purple block that I'm gonna just mess with in OBS and mess with filters, or use as like a border for something. And I just need a color, so I'll make a JPEG image or a PNG image and put it straight into OBS from making that color. OBS has this built directly in. There's a color source in OBS that has a color picker that you can set to be any color you want. And this just saves time without having to make a PNG that's a 16 by 9 image and all other kinds of sorts of thing maybe that you want to do. It's you just add a color to it. And it's been really cool for doing the borders along my stream or the border on my webcam. It's super simple to use and saves you some time and a little bit of loading time inside of OBS, so you don't have to load in that image every time you want to use it. Number 6, this is probably one that a lot of people know about because it's relatively a new feature, but I get questions all the time when people see my OBS. How do I have stream elements panels and my Twitch dashboard inside of OBS without using a custom version of OBS? And that's using custom docs. So if you go up to the view button and go to docs, you can add a custom browser doc, and all you need to do is take the URL from the window that you want to use and put it in there, and then you can mount that anywhere in OBS. Twitch just updated their stream manager to have everything be a modular window. You can pop those windows out and grab that URL. You can put that in any panel you want in your OBS layout. So I have all my quick actions and my stats all readily available directly inside of my OBS, as well as my stream elements events list without using their custom version of OBS Live. Number 7, that's a 10. I can't count. Number 7 is audio monitoring. So a lot of people will want to import cool custom videos into your OBS, or maybe you want to have a raid video queued up for when someone raids you and you want it to be a really cool alert that's not just integrated, that you can trigger manually, or maybe something like my Eat a Bag of Dicks animation or the Pikachu animation that all have audio to them. And OBS inherently will play the audio out to your stream and they'll be able to hear it, but sometimes you want to be able to listen for audio cues inside of your audio, or inside of or being able to listen to certain browser sources if you have a YouTube browser source loaded up. And that's where audio monitoring comes into play. So if you go into your settings and go to the audio tab inside of settings, in the advanced section, you will see monitoring device. You need to set that to whatever your desktop audio is for your stream. For me, it's my voice meter inputs, because I use voice meter to do everything, which you can learn about in the last video, linked right here somewhere. Go check that out on how I set up my audio. But you can do that, and then it requires an OBS restart sometimes to get it to work. It's a little finicky. But once you do that, you can go into any mixer source. You can go into advanced audio properties and set the audio monitoring of any source that has audio within OBS. So you would set that source to monitor only if you're using voice meter, and then, or monitor an output if you're using a separate output for your thing. Figure out what works for you so you don't double up. I always get them confused because audio is weird. Number 8 is transitions. So everybody knows about Stinger transitions these days. It's a really cool feature that OBS added a while back that allows you to have these custom video transitions that are kind of resource heavy generally, but they only last for a second or two, so they don't really make your computer chug if you're running on a decent computer. What a lot of people don't know is there's actually some cool customizable transitions already built into OBS that doesn't make you have to go buy a pack of graphics from Nerd or Die or custom commission somebody, using Luma wipes. Luma wipes are your standard old school video transitions, like the stuff you would see in old Star Wars films with the wipe across or the wipe around, that sort of thing. Those are all built into OBS, and you can customize them and invert them. And there's like 40 of them that you can use built right into OBS to make your stream just a little bit more unique. And a lot of people don't know about these, and I would love to see more people use them because they're really creative. Number 9 is audio filters. This is a thing that a lot of people don't use, and I personally don't use them a lot because I do all my audio processing through Cantabile, as I talked about in the audio video. But These are really good if you don't use any audio processing and you're just using your desktop your desktop source into your microphone into OBS directly. These will allow you to do some basic things like compressors, noise gates on your microphone so your stream doesn't hear everything if you don't have other audio processing set up. Basically anything you can do in Cantabile, you can do in here. It's just Cantabile is only messing with your mic, and you can mess with other sources inside of OBS. You can even load custom plugins like the Reaper plugins I showed you in the last video into OBS and get those high quality compressors and gates and EQs inside of OBS directly with audio filters. And the number 10, last but not least, is plugins. This is probably going to be a video all on its own later on, but I just wanted to go over really quickly that the OBS forums have a great repository of information and available free to use and paid to use plugins that can modify your stream in the way you want. Like audio spectralizers, a DVD screensaver, custom bot commands that only work within OBS, things like custom video effects and transitions. We're gonna go all of that over in another video, but I figured it was worth mentioning now and for you to start digging your teeth into is that the OBS forums have just so many plugins that need to be covered, and you should all go check them out and find cool stuff. There's so much cool stuff on. Well, that's my 10 weird OBS features that you may or may not have known about. I hope you guys learned something today, and maybe you'll teach me something in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Just a couple bits in chat. You could end the ceaseless slaughters of Linens at Cassie's hand.